Hi everyone. Well, I was wanting to do my Sailor Moon Crystal Act 27 review. This is the Infinity 1 second half part. Real quick, I want to say that in part 1, Haruka and Michiru fly to school instead of drive, which is the difference from the 90s. And also in the second half, again, it's been a while since I've seen this. It's been 2 weeks now, and I've been really busy. So I'm going to try and do it from my memory, because I don't have time to sit there and watch it again. So I'm going to try and do it from my memory. In the second half, we see that the girls go to Mugen School to try to locate the monsters, try to figure out where the attacks are coming from. Whereas in the 90s, they didn't do that until like toward the end of the season. So there's a difference there. Also in the 90s versus Crystal for this, in Crystal, Haruka gave them a warning saying, "Don't come back. I'll let you go this time, but don't come back. I won't show mercy the second time." And also, for Crystal, when Usagi meets Michiru for the first time in the 90s, they're in like a park kind of thing, and Haruka's there, and she's tossing up a melon or a lemon or something. So that's in the 90s, and she's kind of saying, she's a little Beethoven because she's really good with the violin. Whereas in the 90s, Crystal, when Usagi meets her, Haruka's nowhere around Michiru, and Usagi and Michiru just stare at each other for a bit, and Michiru gives Usagi a warning. Another thing that happens in Crystal versus the 90s is Chibiusa goes to the amusement park, and Mamoru takes her to kind of chaperone her field trip. But Usagi's kind of upset about this because she wants to go, but she can't because she's got to go to the school with the other girls. And so that's kind of different because in the 90s that didn't happen. Also, that happened in the second half was when Chibiusa lost her hat. This was toward the end of Season 3 for the 90s, but beginning of Season 3 for Crystal. She runs out of the park and tries to find the hat, and she runs into Hotaru, and she asks, do you need my help or something? She's in Crystal. Hotaru doesn't really talk to Chibiusa much, but in the 90s, Hotaru finds the hat and gives it to Chibiusa, and they start talking really immediately after that and become friends. So that's happened in the 90s versus Crystal. Another thing is when Chibiusa transforms into Sailor Mini-Moon. In Crystal, it happened right in the end of the R arc versus the S arc, because in the 90s, Sailor Mini-Moon did not show up until, again, middle of Season 3 when Eugeo took over. So that's kind of different. She's already there when it started, Chibiusa was, so she's already fighting with Sailor Moon and everybody. And in the second half, we noticed that when the Guardians attack the monsters, their attacks are doing nothing. And so Sailor Moon uses the Spiral Heart Moon Rod. And difference about that is in the manga, when she does her famous pose with it, the heart twirls and then goes to the monster. Whereas in the 90s, it just comes out of the wand and just goes straight to the monster. It doesn't stay there in front of her for a second and twirl like it does in the manga. So that happened in the 90s, and so also in Crystal, when we see Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, they're still kind of in the dark, in the shadows. And we see Sailor Uranus wear a mask, which we didn't see in the 90s. Also in the 90s, when Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune appeared, they were in a tree, but very darkened out. We didn't see them. We just saw their silhouettes and stuff. And in the 90s, the first target was Rai for her pure heart. But like I said before, I think in the last one, they're not after pure hearts in the Deathbuster arc for Crystal. They're just after the talismans, which are already there. Sailor Uranus has her sword, Sailor Neptune has her mirror, and Sailor Pluto has her globe thing on top of her staff. I don't know what that's called. Again, I have to rewatch everything and figure that out. But yeah, so Sailor Moon and the gang defeat another pod or demon from the Deathbusters. And so I think Eugeo sent that one. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But yeah. So there are my comparisons for the 90s Sailor Moon Crystal or Sailor Moon and the Sailor Moon Crystal. So that was my review for Act 27, Infinity, second half. Act 28, Infinity, second half, I believe. Yeah. So so I just wanted to clear that up. I will try to get the second one up later today if I have time. Well, yeah, if I have time. If not, I'll do it before or after work, hopefully before next Monday. So if you have any questions, please ask me in the comments. Please also keep in mind that I'm doing this from memory, and so if I forget anything, again, let me know in the comments, and I'll gladly add it to the next video. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye, Moonies.